Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Forever Stranded. Guys, today we have got some definitive plans to go for. I've made another platform over here on the side, kind of similar to the first one, and put down a whole bunch of oak saplings. Now here in a little bit we're going to turn this into an actual fully functioning farm. And I think that the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to use the farmer or chopper from Progressive Automation. That's a block that you can put down and upgrade to eventually be able to cover this whole area. It starts out with one block of coverage, and slowly you can upgrade it by putting in items called upgrades that you make with it. Go figure, right? And then it will be able to handle a wider area around it. As opposed to some of the other, like, farming type blocks from other mods. I mean, like, literally when I say one, I mean it covers one single block. So all 7 of these other blocks where there are saplings planted will have to be upgrades that are installed into the machine. But that's fine. That's something that we can definitely handle. The other thing that we need is a way to keep it powered, because it uses power. Either it can burn charcoal, or it can take RF if you install the upgrade to it that allows it to accept it. And so we're going to be using a furnace generator. Right here is the recipe for it. It takes a machine block, a furnace, some iron, and some redstone. The machine block is also a recipe that you have to do here, but every one of those gets you 4 of them, so we're going to go ahead and make that. And then we're going to go ahead and pick up the furnace generator as well. There we go, and there we go. And what this is going to do is this accepts any kind of normal fuel that you would put into a furnace. So like charcoal, blaze rods, buckets of lava, anything like that would power this generator. And then we're going to also make, instead of anything else, we're also going to make an RF powered furnace from the same mod, Extra Utilities 2. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that. It's got some bricks and some machine blocks. That's not a problem. I think I actually already have. Yeah, I don't have the bricks made, but I've got the clay, so we can just slap this into here. Oh, there's some blood in there. Huh, I wonder when a monster got caught in there. Well, it shouldn't have been in my base, right guys? Right. So we're going to pull out these bricks as soon as they're made here. And then we'll be able to throw together this automated or RF powered furnace. And how essentially it's going to work is it's going to be one big cycle, right? So I'm going to put the chopper in the middle. It's going to take down the trees as we upgrade it, and then it's going to feed the wood into the RF powered furnace, which is then going to take the charcoal from that and put it into the furnace generator, and then that's going to supply power to the whole thing. Now we'll have to give it a bit of a starter to go with, which is why I've got this thing pulling down all of this oak wood and turning it into charcoal, so that we have something to feed the furnace right from the get-go. Let's see, is the clay done? Yeah, so now we just got to pull it down into the bricks, which is no trouble whatsoever. Very easy to do with a big tinker smeltery like this. The other thing I discovered, I'm going to go ahead and throw this one at you because this is something that I'm going to be working on here before too long. These emerald ores, guys, check this out. Okay, so if I understand it correctly, and we're going to test it out together because I haven't tested it out myself, in the Tinker Smeltery, if you do one of the emerald ores, you actually get 4 emeralds just straight out of the gate. Now, of course, you can get that with a fortune pick, but if it's just an automated thing and I don't have to really think about it, then I think that's going to be better for us, right? Because then we don't have to take a chance. I think an average of 4, where you get 4 from every single one of the ores, is actually going to be better than the average that that fortune on a pick would give us. So we're going to check that out in just a second as well. Let's go ahead and get this made. Yep, furnace right there. Boom. So then we just got to take a look at the chopper and the upgrade for it, which I think is actually rather expensive in terms of the materials that are used for it. As you can see in here, the chopper has multiple levels. Now what I'm thinking if I can remember correctly, is that the wooden chopper does. All these machines operate exactly the same way. They take upgrades, they do one space in front of them. The only difference is that wooden choppers can accept wooden tools, stone can accept stone and wooden, and so on and so forth, where diamond can accept any tool and then use that to cut down all of the stuff that you're getting. Now, with since we have this in line with Tinkers, I'm pretty sure that a paper pick, like an all-paper pick or axe or anything like that, would operate as a wooden tool. And so we would be able to put a Tinker's axe in here, say with unbreaking, for instance, to where it would never ever break and we wouldn't have to replace it, because these do also use the tools that you would put into them as though you were mining them themselves. Now, of course, it would be better to have something that would mine faster, but if we're not really worried about speed, which we wouldn't be, because this is something that we're operating on right now just as a way to get started and like throw this together and then never worry about it again, right? Because we can just let this run over time, build up wood, build up charcoal, and give us a little bit of power to run a couple of machines off of until we can get into something a little bit more serious in our power. The other power option that we have is lava. That's really good for early game, but I'm not sure that I want to go that route. As easy as it is to do, it's kind of boring and it's been done. I'm not really sure that I want to get into that too terribly. If I do, it's really only going to be a couple of generators, and then we're going to try to move on to something else as quick as we can, which is what we're doing already anyways, by setting up this tree farm and getting the furnace generator together with it. So I'm going to crack on with that after we test this out. Now, exactly one emerald ore should be, I believe, 600-ish of millibuckets of fluid. So if this provides us with significantly more than that, then we have definitely found something. I think times 4 it would be like 2400, right? Yeah, math. 6 times 4 basically. So we're going to put this in here and let this smelt up and check it in just a minute. Let's see what the recipe for the wooden chopper is. Wooden thing, furnace, some logs, and a chest. That's not hard to do. Let's go ahead and grab out the stone. We'll make the furnace while that's smelting up there. And then we've got some logs in our inventory. We just need some chests, so we'll go ahead and do that, and then pull it back out, right? Because we need to make the wooden tool, duh. So we'll go ahead and put that down, and then, do I have some sticks already made up? Oh, I actually already just have a wooden axe. That's helpful. Okay, so I think it was axe, and then the furnace was there, chest there, and then we had the logs on either side. Is that correct? Sure is. So let's take a look at that as well. We're gonna go at progressive. Yeah, there we go. And then we can see the wooden upgrades are wood and redstone, whereas the stone upgrades are a wooden upgrade and then stone, but they're also keyed to the level. So like putting in a diamond upgrade doesn't give you like 4 times as many upgrades as putting in a wooden one. So if you have a wooden chopper, then you use wooden upgrades. So that's what this is here. And if later on we decide that we want to upgrade to a higher level of the progressive automation machines, you can just break the machine and get all the upgrades back. And since these are required for the higher tier upgrades anyways, there's really no incentive for us at this point to go ahead and move up. Now the other thing that we have to look at is this. Yes, this is the RF engine. Yeah, that is a little bit expensive, but you know, for this machine, for us to get this going, I don't think that it's too far out of our reach, and I definitely think that it's worth pursuing. So let's cool down real quick. That's as much as we can do at like the noontime hour. It's pretty warm here. We'll check on the emeralds. Yeah, 4 gems. Every single one of these is going to be 4 gems inside of this smeltery. That's crazy. That's so many emeralds. So we're going to go ahead and just throw all that in and let that smelt up, and then we'll pull it out here in a little bit. Alright, let's go ahead and look at seeing about how many of these can we make just right now with the amount of wood we've got. 3. Let's go ahead and tear down a couple of these trees. Gotta love vein miner, right? Check that out. And then we'll go ahead and grab the logs out too. Fantastic. And then we definitely got at least enough saplings to replant those trees that we tore down, so we'll go ahead and throw those back in there. And then we'll come in here and we'll see if we can't do a little bit more. We're going to need at least, I think it's 7 upgrades. Yeah, because it starts off with the ability to mine one of those areas, so 7 upgrades should give us enough to get the other 7 squares around the chopper. And then we've got the RF engine, which is going to be a redstone block, which we'll just go ahead and pull out. And then I think we need 2 gold, which we don't already have in our inventory, so let's grab that real quick. Boom, boom, boom. And we've got that done too. So the only other thing that we need to do is we need some way to supply power to it with the furnace generator as a go-between. So we really need... So we need to get some of the... some energy cables. What do we have in terms of cable in this pack? Okay, so we've got the stuff from Applied Energistics, Industrial Craft, Immersive Engineering. Let's, Ender.io's in this, right? Yeah, it sure is, So we've got the energy conduits. What's the recipe like here? That is not terrible. Only 2 of them, though. Normally this recipe gives 8, I think, or 6. I think it gives 6. So I guess it got cut down for this pack. So we're going to have to make some of this stuff, which is, again, making those machines. I might have to grind out a little bit more iron to get started in the Ender.io tree. Let me see what I can put together, guys. I'm gonna do some looking around at our materials and see what we got. I will be back. Okay, I looked around a little bit, and we are going to have to get into some of the Ender.io stuff to try and get this up and running. But the recipe has been changed pretty aggressively for the alloy smelter, which is the thing that we'll need to make the materials that we're looking at there for the various conduits so that we can hook this all up together. I mean, super aggressively. So let's look at the recipe here for a second, and then we'll look at the stuff that I put together. So here you can see this is probably the most resource intensive bit of it, is that it requires 4 blocks of iron in addition to any of the other iron that was normally required by the recipe with the cauldron and the machine chassis. So that's a big increase. Like, I can't remember what this was before, but it definitely wasn't 4 blocks of iron. I'm going to go ahead and think that it's based on this pack because I've made this a million times and it's never been this expensive. So then we look at the machine chassis, and this is the normal recipe for it. Nothing weird or different here, but the basic capacitor, this normally requires gold nuggets, and now it's requiring full gold ingots. So that's pretty aggressive change in 2 different areas to make this much more resource intensive to get to. But we do have it, so we can come here, we can craft this, come over here, throw that in there and get that, and then turn around, throw this in here, and boom, we've got ourselves an alloy smelter. So we're going to come out here, and temporarily we're just going to run this right on top of the furnace generator. You can see I've already got a couple of bits of coal ready to go here. I've got all the storage drawers laid out in such a way that all of this stuff will be available to us. Now the item conduits are going to be probably the most expensive because that actually requires ender pearls to get going. And while I did manage to kill a couple of endermen, I don't think that I have a lot of ender pearls left. And I'm guessing if the recipe for the other conduits was changed as aggressively as it was, then I bet the other one has changed too. So yeah, this is the recipe for pulsating iron, which is used in the item conduits. So ender pearl and iron ingots. Let's take a look here find the conduits. There's items. Yeah, only 2 again for that. So yeah, the same kind of cut down as it is in the other conduits, because this normally produces, I think, either 6 or 8. But at least it does only require the nuggets of pulsating iron, so if we make just a couple of ingots, we could make several of these and get this farm up and moving. So I'm going to go and sit here for a minute, let this furnace generator do its business and kick power up into this thing, and then grab that stuff and throw it together. And then once I can show you something, I will be back. So I needed some more bone meal in order to get things going the way that I wanted to, and so I went ahead and finished up the monster spawner room. Now you can see here down below I've got some iron spikes. The diamond ones is what I wanted to make, but they're a little outside my reach right now. We've got conveyor belts pushing monsters down here to them. They have ridiculous speed boosts, so if they want to get out of there, they totally can, as you can see. Thank you for the demonstration, Miss Witch. But yeah, I have a whole line of resturbed monster spawners, and I have a few of them running right now. I have skeletons and witches. And they're slowly spawning because I don't have any speed upgrades in them because I haven't worked on my grid power network. And then I have an item collector right here that's collecting all the drops for me. And then I'm just slowly moving them myself over into this. Now in there I've got, I'm pretty sure I have blazes and skeletons and zombies. And there's a couple others, but I can't remember what they are actually. But yeah, so I can turn them on as I need, or as I want to, and then just have the items collected here. And as soon as I've got the cabling done, then this will just be automatically taken out of the chest and deposited into a whole row of these things, and then this will kind of become like an area where all of the monster drops are collected, and I can come down here and grab stuff when I need to. Now, this one's sitting here because I haven't quite decided if maybe there's something broken. This is a monster spawner for chicken, as you can see. I have the chicken spawn egg. I put it into a monster spawner, which is supposed to make the monster become tuned to that, whatever the mob was inside of the spawning egg that you used. But I've put this thing in a dark room and it's not working, so I'm setting it here just so I remember to check into that later. But yeah, so we finally have like fully automated monster killing. The only downside is that it's not dropping the player death only mob items. So like for instance, that's why I don't have the blaze one turned on, because blaze rods are tuned to where you only get them if players do the kill. And I don't want to sit down here and do the kill because there's no safe way for me to do it yet. But yeah, so there we go. I'm going to get back to working on that tree farm. And here we are on another successful project. I managed to make 3 of these pulsating iron ingots, so I have a few of the chips here. We're going to go ahead and make some of the cables. I think I will need 2 sets of them. So let's go ahead and set this thing up and see if we can get it going. Just do that to connect power over here to this machine. It's not quite enough though, because this doesn't have really anything inside of its internal storage yet, but it'll get there. It will get there. So let's see how much. We'll leave about half a stack in there, so that way there's something that we can see going here. Now the other part that we need to set up is the transference of items. So we're going to go ahead and click that and that. Here we're going to extract with always active, round robin enabled. So that way it'll search out for the other things here. We're going to want to put wood directly into this, but not saplings, which I think it would also take. I don't know, we'll figure that out in just a minute. Go ahead and attach it for now. And then the main one we're going to be looking at is all this stuff here. Yeah, we're going to need a few more of these. Luckily we have the materials for it, so let's go ahead and craft up a few more. Only getting 2 out of this is pretty brutal, actually. Like, that's a really, really harsh exchange rate. But I mean, these are literally the best cables, so I understand what he was going for there, because he wants us to have to try to overcome this. So this one is going to be set to in out with extract always active, and insert. The only thing that we're going to want to insert though is wood. So we might have to look into a filter. So let's change this color of this one to brown. Well, really just anything else. So that's going to be what takes the charcoal out. And oh, well, I mean, I have to set that one up, but that's not what I meant to click on this, because we also have to do round robin enabled. So that way half of it will go to this, and half of it will go to the furnace generator there. Let's go ahead and set that on insert as well. Insert. And that's going to be inserting on red. And this is going to be insert and insert. There we go. Let's go ahead and get back inside real quick and cool down, so that way you don't start taking damage from this. Really gonna work on that automatic temperature reduction stuff. I am just so tired of this, but without a strong power system in place, there's really no point, which is something I forgot when I was trying to deal with it so early, is that it does take power for that little item that regulates your temperature to function. So getting it like super early isn't actually all that beneficial. So let's see. This thing is on. This thing's got charcoal. It's generating power. I think it's still trying to catch up, yeah, with filling up the power here. We'll go ahead and we'll supply a few more saplings to it. I mean, heck, what's the problem here? Let's just go ahead and throw in a whole stack if it'll take it. Okay, there we go. Now I did go ahead and make a unbreakable paper hatchet here to cut down the trees with. That's just a hatchet, and then I'll show you how to make the unbreakable part. It's in Tinker. It's this little upgrade right here, reinforcement upgrade. If I can click the right thing, which is any cast, which I just used a blank cast without any kind of part, and then obsidian around the edges. You can make obsidian inside the smeltery by putting water and lava into it. Took me a really long time to put all of the water and lava into the smeltery to get it going, but hey, that's what you gotta do. Suffer for the art, right? Hey, this thing is starting to build up power itself, so is this full now? Oh, fantastic. And that means that also the alloy smelter's full, this is full. Great, great. So now we got to look into making some filters here. Let's see, what do filters require again? We really just need the basic one for this. A hopper and some paper. Yeah, I think we can do this. We'll need just the one, honestly. There we go. Oh, but I need wood first, because I need to make a chest. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna leave that there for now. So we'll go back inside, come to here, put this stuff down, get ourselves some chests, put that there, get the hopper, and then grab out this convenient paper from when I was making the hatchet and make the item filter. And then we're going to put it on here on the insert, and we're only going to send in wood. That's all that this thing is going to be looking for. And that's a whitelist. So fantastic. and then that's going to insert over here on the red channel, so we don't need a filter there, because this is going to come out, and the only product's going to be charcoal from the wood. So it's going to go into there and supply power, and this is now a self-contained system. As long as we don't overtax the power system here, this will keep running indefinitely, and it will do it all by itself. We don't have to touch it anymore. So now we have, notwithstanding that we kind of had it before, but now we have infinite apples, oak saplings, charcoal, and wood. And that is a fantastic way to end this episode. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like below on the episode, and if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. I thank you again for watching, and we will see you in the next episode.